The ideas expressed in City Club forums are those of the speakers and not of the City Club of Cleveland, IdeaStream Public Media, or their sponsors. Production and distribution of City Club forums on IdeaStream Public Media are made possible by PNC and the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, Incorporated.
Good afternoon and welcome to the City Club of Greater Cleveland, where we are devoted to conversations of consequence that help democracy thrive. It's Friday, October 10th, and I'm John Corlett, a senior visiting fellow at the Center for Community Solutions, and honored to introduce today's forum, which is part of the City Club's Local Hero Series. It's a series that spotlights champions right here in Northeast Ohio, whose hard work changes the way we view ourselves and our community. Today, I am particularly pleased to recognize and celebrate my friend and executive director of the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland, Phyllis Seven Harris. I think this speech is already successful. So celebrating 50 years in 2025, the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland is the leading nonprofit empowering Northeast Ohio's LGBTQ community through advocacy, education, collaboration, and celebration. In fact, it's one of the first established centers in the country. Leading the way is Phyllis Seven Harris, a tireless advocate in Cleveland's LGBTQ plus community. Her steady, strategic leadership comes at an unprecedented time when legislative policies and cultural shifts have impacted critical issues facing the LGBTQ plus community. Together with her talented team, Phyllis continues to build upon an organization that remains a welcoming space to get support, to bring community together, and to advocate for the rights of all of those in the LGBTQ plus community. Now, Phyllis has nearly 2 decades of leadership experience in Northeast Ohio. Before joining the center, she oversaw youth engagement programming for Planned Parenthood, served as Director of Education and Advocacy with the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center, and was Vice President of Programs and Interim CEO with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Cleveland. I think that's when I met you.
Yes.
For those of us who know Phyllis personally, you know that she is the first to show up at your event, to answer your call no matter the time of day. She speaks truth to power, especially when power needs to hear it most. And on the eve of National Coming Out Day, it's a special moment to hear from Phyllis as she stands here in her power to tell us what pride, progress, and purpose truly mean for each of us. Now, before we begin, quick reminder for our live stream and radio audience, if you have a question during the Q&A portion of the forum, you can text it to 330-541-5794. And City Club staff will try and work it into the program. Now, members and friends of the Cleveland City Club of Cleveland, please join me in welcoming Phyllis Seven Harris.
That was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Wow, wow, wow. You all look really good out here. Thank you for welcoming me, Phyllis Seven Harris. My middle name really is Michelle. My mama's in the audience. To the City Club. I'm so excited to be here. This is a true honor, right? To stand here in this citadel of free speech, right? Here in Cleveland, my hometown. These spaces, as you know and as you've heard, in are hearing in society are so vitally important. Standing here, I'm reminded of all those before me who used the stage to demand change, to inspire community, and to champion justice. I owe my knowledge of the City Club to my graduate school education at Case Western, the Mandel School. I got an M&O and not that other degree, the social work one. I hire good social workers and work with them. And I got a student membership because it was cheaper. And I had heard of the City Club, but I hadn't been. And I became a member back then as a student. And here I am now today, the daughter of Cleveland, right? I'm proud, I'm delighted. I'm a Black lesbian feminist standing here, proud and delighted to be here. I'm a mother, my children are in the audience. Jaden and Austin. And as the executive director of the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland. My heart is full. I see my family, my friends, my colleagues, and allies. Allies matter so much. These are people who believe our city and future can belong to everyone. These, and you all, the people who showed up today, are the reason why I'm so brave. Because the work of change that has to happen is not a solo act. It's not about me. I like attention. I like to be in the spotlight, sort of. It's not about me, right? It is like a chorus, right? I see Amanda here from Plexus. It is the work that they do there. I see Avery here from the LGBT Center at Case. It's the work they do there. I see my team here. It's the work that we collectively do together in all these organizations. It is like the sound of folks coming together, refusing to be silent, and believing that a better future is possible. That's why we're here. Before I share more, though, I want to honor those who helped shape this journey with me. We're at the City Club. The City Club's team is awesome. Everybody, from the time I opened the door, and especially to Noelle, Cynthia, and Dan, who have kept me calm, and who have invited me, right? To the LGBT Center's Board of Directors, who are here, some of who are here today. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for bringing your diverse perspectives. Thank you for your commitment. And thank you for guiding us to be able to move our organization forward, not just to survive, but actually to thrive. They're smart people, and they challenge me well. And I love it. It's important. To my colleagues from organizations where I get to strengthen my leadership skills, Zygote Press. Yes. Facing History in Ourselves. Yes, good organizations, and I'm naming them for a reason, right? And also the Fantasy Community Foundation. It takes all of us. And there's so many other partners that we work with, but thank you for helping me to be me and grow into my own power as a leader here in Cleveland. To my friends who showed up, and there's lots of you here, so thank you. We're gonna go out later. Thank you for showing up for me in my work, because this is a lifestyle job, and in my life. I really do appreciate it. And finally, my mom, my family, your love and your support are the foundation of everything that I do. When I talk to parents and they're concerned because their kid has come out or they suspect that their kid is gay or trans, I say to them, love your child. And I say to them, yes. Yes. My mother will tell you that I was quiet, shy. Some of you might still remember when I I didn't talk much. There are people here, you know? And I really tell those parents that, because they think I'm so brave. And I say, yeah, I am brave, you know? It takes courage. But what I tell them is that, my mom didn't reject me. My mom was like, come over. You remember? And she said, I want to know about you and what's going on with you. This time I'm around 23, 24, I'm doing my thing, And she said, you came through my body, right? She said, I know. I couldn't say it, I'm just crying, I know. She goes, I know, your brother knows, and your granny knows, and we're gonna have to work on her. You said that. But let me tell you what happened after that. Let me tell you what happened. It looks like this. Head up, shoulders back. And I'm here, so thank you. So parents, if you're listening, and I hope you're listening, and I hope you're listening for the right reasons, just love your child. It's too hard out here to do it alone. And we find our friends and our families of choice, but love your children, your trans child, your queer child, your gay child, your lesbian child, your child who wants to be called they and them. It is not that hard. My name is Phyllis Michelle Harris, and people call me Seven. It's not that hard, Seriously, right? So it truly means a lot to stand here surrounded by people I love and the people who believe in this community. That matters. We are healthy when we have people. And I tell folks all the time, I'm not alone. There are lots of allies. I just need our allies to speak up, to stand up, to act. It's an action word. It's about doing and being and speaking out. So let me just switch to what this is about, okay? This year, we're celebrating. In May, I knew it was coming. I said, we're not just going to celebrate one day. And actually, I have to give credit to Gail Palmer, who helps us with logistics for Pride. She said, yeah, you celebrate the whole year. I was like, yes. From May 2025 to May 2026, we're celebrating the center's 50th anniversary. That is 50 years of pride, 50 years of progress, and 50 years of purpose. These aren't just words. They are a living legacy shaped by every person who has walked into our doors and dared to be themselves. That's what it's shaped by, right? What about Pride? What is it? Everybody knows about Pride in the CLE, right? Yes. Yes. That is a fun event. We are visible, we are strong, we have fun, but Pride in our community is more than parades, or in our case, a march, because we don't parade, we march, right? It's more than parades and marches and rainbows. Pride is courage, and you heard me say a little bit about that courage earlier. Pride is courage, right? In 1975, when the center began as GEAR, the Gay Education Awareness Resource Foundation, did I get it right, Emma? Thank you. When it started, I got young people who work with me and help me out a lot. When it was getting started, Pride meant gathering where curtains were drawn tight, right? And names were shared quietly. It meant answering calls on a community hotline at 2 a.m. because someone was at the edge of despair. Did you know that the center used to have a hotline? Sometimes people still ask me about it. Yeah, it had a hotline. And so you could call and you could get help. Right? It was, mimeographed newsletters that were distributed hand to hand, offering hope and connection and community. It was potluck dinners. I didn't know what a potluck was until I came out. The lesbians, East Side lesbians especially, they love potlucks. And look at my mom's face, because you don't just eat anybody's food, right? And all these women were showing up with potlucks, and now I'm just like, where's the couscous? I'm ready, And this stuff, were lifelines disguised as ordinary. And there were people organizing and doing it. Last night we celebrated LGBTQ Heritage Day at the center. October is LGBTQ History Month. Tomorrow is Coming Out Day. And two of the founders of the center were there and shared some of their stories, you know. Those people are still here living and breathing and getting to see, you know, our pride and then our progress, which is what we're gonna get to next, right? So pride was not just about being seen, it was about survival. It's about endurance, and it's about joy too. We know how to have fun. We do a good party. One of our elders, who's recently passed away, told me, we didn't know if we'd live long enough, Howard, for those of you who know, we didn't know if we'd live long enough to see the center, you know, reach 50. We didn't know if the center was gonna last until 50, but we kept showing up because it meant so much to be together. And I wasn't gonna say Howard's name, but I needed to say it. I didn't write it because I didn't wanna cry. One of the things that happens is, you know, when I started in 2012, there were a group of men who would show up at the center. At that time, we had our senior programming twice a week, and we expanded quickly to 3 times a week. And all of those folks have been coming, that group, there's maybe one of them left, that core group, for 13 years, the length of time that I've been at the center, and I've seen them pass on, right? But in that last part of their life, right, they were at the center with us, with Alyssa, here, our program manager, you know, being 24 and hanging out with our elders and dealing with that challenge gracefully, because she's got good manners, right? So this is the pride that we honor and cherish. The courage of everyday people who refuse to disappear. And that's who we are. And that brings us to progress, right? We know that progress is never a straight line, and we don't even like the word, but we like our straight allies, right? It is not linear. It is sometimes painfully slow. If you can remember when we first talked about the center moving, that took like 5 years. Gray hair. You know, seriously, you know, like it is taking those steps forward, taking those steps back, but through it all, in over 5 decades, right? One of the first established center in the nation, there's 375 of them, and we're one of the first, right? You know, we have grown. Like I don't want to do a disservice to what happened before, because they didn't have the type of rights and protections that we have now, right? They didn't have the space and things like that. There was magic made in those smaller rooms and down in that basement over on Detroit Avenue. It's grown from that, a small handful of volunteers, into a thriving community hub. It's hard for me to be here and not want to call on those ancestors of before who served at the center. There's many former board members here. LaRon is here. Al Calger is here. Craig Hoffman, who used to work with us, is here. Brooke Willis is here. First time we put out a newsletter during my time, Brooke, red pen, sent it back. I was like, I don't know who he dealing with here. I said, come on over here, brother, let's help us out. Don't send me anything with red marks, help us. He's brilliant, and he did, and he's always there looking after us and making sure we're accountable to what we need to do. So here we are, a thriving community hub. Today, our programs really represent the full arc of LGBTQ life, right? Starting with young people, our QU programming, it offers affirmation, it offers joy for those kids, it offers safety and leadership skills, because we are part of a movement. This is not just all fun and games. We are part of a movement for the rights for our lives, so we need leaders. And so we pour into our young people around how to be leaders, how to organize, how to advocate for themselves. And these kids are advocating in their schools for themselves. They're advocating at home. They're advocating just to have fun and be a kid and not think about all these other stuff. And when a young person says to their parent, "Why does everyone hate us?" A young trans person, we know we have work to do. So QU is there. With our collaborations with Colors Counseling, we've been able to expand our mental health services. Thank you, Gomera, for your tenacity and good work and partnership development. Seriously, so they're getting the help that they need, and there needs to be more. Our Trans Plus program for trans and non-binary folks, people are coming out. These are people, these are our siblings, these are your daughters and sons, and so what? My name is Phyllis Harris, and people call me Seven. I know it's not that simple, but you can learn. If you start with love and humanity, you can learn to be supportive. Our Rainbow Pioneers program for our elders. This combats isolation. It allows them to be in a place where they can celebrate their lifetimes of resilience and the wisdom that they bring. It's wonderful. We actually get old. We need support. Some people don't think of us like that. They're so busy targeting us, because we like to have a party, a pride celebration every year and things like that. But we have all the issues that, any other elders have, right? So Rainbow Pioneers is there. Building a Village programming. Dejan Battle is here. Dejan is a parent, has a lot to do, but wanted to help us establish and facilitate a parenting group for folks who have kids, queer folks who have kids under 10. I remember that. My kids, like I said, are 19 and 27 now, but I remember wanting them to see other families like theirs and families of allies who really just saw us as another family. It was great. Every program is a promise. Every program is a promise. And every promise that we deliver on is progress, right? Right, team? We are who we serve, right? Yes. I got team members over here too, yes. Progress is a young person walking to prom through the partnership that we have with Near West Theater and feeling maybe, yes, yes, maybe for the first time, I can be safe and celebrated in the same space. Imagine that. Imagine that, right? Progress looks like bricks and mortar. In 2019, we opened a new facility on Detroit Avenue, but it's not just a building. It's a statement. It's a statement that LGBTQ people belong here, right here in the heart of Cleveland. Each story, each person that finds community at the center is progress lived and breathed, right? And today, we're in our third year of strategic planning. Strategic plans go on and on and on, but they're important. In our third year of our strategic plan, we are on the right path, right? A plan that our community helped us to develop. It's one that commits us to deeper sustainability and deeper impact, because progress, it really does have to be more than survival. It embodies our organizational promise to serve with purpose. You see where I'm headed here? Purpose is not what we do. Purpose is all about what we do with this legacy, right? It's what we do with our legacy. It's what drives us toward action, even when the cards are stacked against us. And right now, we know that they are. When I first came to the center, I reached out to local program officers, people I'd worked with or known through the nonprofit sector. I learned that from Mary Bridget, who is my teacher and mentor around my leadership style, to meet with folks, right? And learn from them and ask them questions, because they like to know stuff. You taught me that. So I met with them all, Mary. And they all had the same hard message. And what they said to me is, one said bluntly, the center was in the ashes. We thought the previous ED coming there, I was the third in 5 years, was doing well, but now here we are. So we won't leave you hanging, but we have, she said, cautious optimism. So hung with me, but no, we're not giving you any money because we don't. People don't like to invest in sinking ships. But I said, we're not sinking, right? Another asked me, do we still need LGBT centers? I'm brand new. Yeah. And I knew the answer was yes. But I got to be honest. I didn't answer that question with the strength or clarity that I should have. She went on and she was like, my brother is gay and he's fine now. It wasn't a good answer. It wasn't a good day for me. I felt like all weird inside, Their doubts challenged me, but it strengthened my resolve. I came back and I was ready to work. And I was like, I'll show them. And purpose is the answer to that question. It truly is. It is connected to the answer. And the answer is yes. Yes, we need LGBTQ centers across this nation. Yes, we need more than one. This is why we're expanding to the east side with programming and partnerships. Yes. Yes. We need LGBTQ centers because belonging isn't automatic. Because joy doesn't just happen. You have to create it for yourself. And because justice requires places to gather, places to heal, places to organize, Elizabeth, our advocacy coordinator, and Mo, our second advocacy coordinator, because it's that important, right? And it's places where we thrive, and we deserve that. We deserve to be able to thrive. And today, October 10th, 2025, on my capstone year activity for the year, our purpose has never been clearer. At the state law level, Ohio passed laws that restrict gender-affirming care for minors, ban trans girls from girls' sports, enforce bathroom bills in schools. The so-called Parents' Bill of Rights now chills classroom conversations about LGBTQ experiences. Families are still in court battling this. And the Ohio Supreme Court has not yet, if I have this right, ruled. So our children are living with fear and uncertainty. That's what they're dealing with, instead of like it being fall and it's time for Halloween and things like that, Here in Cuyahoga County, right, and in Cleveland, the story looks different. We have some protections. We have an LGBTQ liaison to the city of Cleveland, with the city of Cleveland, and Carrie Gibbons. Our city's non-discrimination ordinances explicitly protect sexual orientation and gender identity. Cleveland banned conversion therapy for minors years ago, and just last month, Cuyahoga County became the first county in Ohio to ban conversion therapy not only for minors, but also for vulnerable adults, with enforcement through the county's Human Rights Commission. That is what local courage looks like. Robert. Thank you. Yes. So when people ask, do we still need LGBT centers? I haven't heard that lately. But if they were to ask, do we still need LGBTQ centers? My answer is yes. Because while state laws may strip away our protection, the local laws and community organizations like ours, and Plexus, and Colors Youth Center, and Colors Counseling, and the Buckeye Flame, and all the other ones that I'm going to forget to say. Because of those organizations, we fill the gaps, right? So yes, we not only need LGBT community centers like ours, an anchor organization in Cleveland, we need all of these centers to thrive and be healthy. We're going to close that gap. We make belonging real. We keep people alive. And we want to build a Cleveland where the policy and the practice matches our values. The impact of community organizing and advocacy and speaking out, that is what local courage looks like. Joe Simperman had courage and would make the city work with us and do his thing to make sure that we were celebrating LGBT Heritage Day together. I just talked to him about that and how much I miss him. But now we got Carrie, so I ain't worried. And he's been gone for a long time. I've missed you that long, right? And purpose also means carrying that action forward. It means protecting trans kids when they're under attack. It means ensuring elders age with dignity and respect. It means making Cleveland a place where no one has to choose between safety and authenticity, right? Our 50th anniversary is not just a milestone, it is a springboard, right? It's gonna make us move. And here's the truth. We've made it 50 years because of people like you who participate in our activities, who volunteer, who advocate, and who contribute their skills and time. If you want to get involved, all you have to do is show up. Volunteer at our front desk. Join our grocery program. Support our youth at prom. You could be an escort. It's the most beautiful thing. They're so happy. Hang out with the Rainbow Pioneers. They want to hear from you. They like to hear from young people. They even like millennials. Attend one of our organizing meetings. We have them on the west side at the center and on the east side. So you can go east or west. I know we're in Cleveland, so we're making it happen. Mentor trans youth or trans person who's trying to get a job. Mentor them. Teach them how to, write their resumes and present themselves. Whatever role you choose, you make belonging real, and that's important. And if you're already supporting this work, please consider deepening your involvement and inviting others to join in our growing community. Now is the time. Your presence, your time, and your gifts, they matter. They always have. Your gifts, they save lives. Believe it. They save lives and they change stories. So today, in this citadel of speech, of free speech, I want a t-shirt, Dan. We celebrate pride, we celebrate progress, and we celebrate purpose. Pride honors where we've been. It reminds us of our roots, right? Pride keeps us anchored. Pride allows me to remember where I came from. Remember who came before me. Remember the activists and the regular people who showed up on behalf of the center and the community. That's what pride honors. Progress shows us what's possible. I'm possible. We're possible. This room of love is possible. That's progress. Not all of you were getting down with the gays before. But the allies in the room here are here with love. That's progress. Tell someone, right? And purpose, it's sort of like, it just lights the way forward, right? Our purpose reveals what we need to do next. And we're rooted in that purpose. I know that Cleveland is at its best when everyone can stand proudly in who they are. That has been my life's work. And it's the invitation that I extend to all of you. Let's make sure the next 50 years are not defined by reactive survival, but by proactive belonging. Let's build a Cleveland where freedom, justice, and joy are not just promised, they are lived. Thank you.
All right, I had a feeling we were going to stand and applaud for at least another 10 minutes, but we do have to get to audience Q&A. For those just joining via our live stream and radio audience, I'm Cynthia Connolly, Director of Programming here at the City Club of Cleveland. Today we are joined by Phyllis Seven Harris, Executive Director of the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland, as part of our Local Heroes series. We welcome questions from everybody, City Club members, guests, students, and those joining via our live stream at cityclub.org or a live radio broadcast at 89.7 WKSU, Idea Stream Public Media. If you'd like to text a question for Phyllis, please text it to 330-541-5794. That's 330-541-5794, and City Club staff will try to work it into the program. We have our first question.
What's been your greatest joy and your greatest challenge?
Okay.
Thank you.
Phew. All right. That's Brenda Fish. That's my friend. They don't spare the hard questions. But this isn't too hard. Like I came out super early, and then I went in quietly, and then I came out like, okay, my mama said I'm okay, right? And so we lived on the east side. And, I work on the west side, and I didn't come to the west side, though. And east side had a thriving lesbian feminist community. And I learned so much. I learned to love my body. I learned about the inner Mary Bridget used to say and Susan Radbourne were here, they would talk to us, and we would do anti-oppression workshops when I worked at the Rape Crisis Center. And they would say the isms are interconnected and things like that. And then that's how I learned about Kimberly Crenshaw and all those folks. They don't remember all of this, but I do. But I was an East Side lesbian when I learned that there was a community, and there was a lot going on. There was the What She Wants, the Gay People's Chronicle. You could know, those were those, newspapers, right? There was Oven Productions. Oven Productions. If you know, you know. And a vibrant community. And so they held me and taught me and nurtured me and invited me to potlucks. So that's when I learned of the community. I forgot the other questions, though. My greatest joy, it's got to be my children and building families. There's two people here that I was like young and in love and trying to mimic heteronormativity. Like, I don't know why I did that, but, I'm glad they're here, I'm glad they're here. So they're my greatest joys, honestly. And my biggest challenge has to be just trying to be me and be a leader and not, live up to what people think about me, living up to dealing with people's anti-Black bias. And that's everywhere. It's global. And I really do believe, like, honestly, in my work and life, that is the biggest challenge.
Hello. Our next question is a text question. It says, I would like to ask about the LGBTQ immigration community. How we are living in hard times, and as an immigrant working for immigrants, I would like to ask about the LGBT immigration community in Cleveland. What can we do to make them feel safer and closer to the center?
Thank you. Well, there's a couple things. First, I want to tell you about another organization, because we can't do it all, and we don't have all of the expertise or the capacity, but there's another organization called House of Transcendence, right? Jordy Luke, Slayacon, that's not their real name, right? Or that is their real name? Their stage name? Okay, yeah. So a group of fantastic, amazing people who support immigrants here, I mean, really, the really tough stuff. We have a great relationship with them. Golnar Fiorasta, our managing director, also has a lot of knowledge. And just while I'm local, she's global, and so it really helps. So we're a great partnership of executive director and managing director. Because I'm always like, here, here, here. And she's like, everywhere. But I would say to our caller that we don't do enough. I don't think, I'm not satisfied with that answer. Jordy and House of Transcendent, they're working really hard to create housing, to be able to house folks, to support people who are, subcultures. Like, we're the mainstream gays and queers here who show up with levels of privilege, but there are lots of us, like in any other community. And so I really think we do need to do more, but please check out House of Transcendence, and then please contact Golnar Fiorasta, who might have some more resources to let you know about. She's on the board of Resource Cleveland, and they do great work, and Global Cleveland does great work. So, Councilman World Affairs does great work. So let's ask all of them, because they're doing work with immigrants and people, global citizens.
Please use your imagination to identify a few seeds that can be planted to begin the process of addressing racism within the LGBTQIA+ community in Cleveland.
Thank you for that question. Yeah, that's a great question. It starts with supporting leaders like me. It starts with thinking about belonging more expansively, right? It starts with hiring folks from the culture to deliver the cultural programming that is needed. It starts with the opportunity that even if you're not like me, with my floating signifier as Black, right? That you center Blackness. Here's what I think. If we center trans people in the work that we're doing, everybody's gonna get served. If we center Black people, if you center Black people in your organizations around the work that you're doing, other people will get served. That always happens first, right? So I'm gonna be honest with my friend Dr. Potts, who asked that really hard question. It takes, supporting leadership. It takes supporting professional development of your staff. It takes not making that person work 3 times as hard. It takes, now when I'm in the meeting and I speak, people listen. That wasn't always. It was hard. They didn't even understand that they had implicit their bias. So imagine I had to teach them that first. And if we could get there, and honestly, there were people that we got there with, right? If we could get there, we could get a lot more work done. And I respect those folks now. I'm like, they weren't the ones that gave me a hard time and never changed. They're the ones that gave me a hard time and they're still around. And when I see them, I light up because I know we did it. I don't know if I answered that question completely, but it really is about centering Black people, the issues that Black people have. If you really want to help, try that. See what happens.
Good afternoon. First of all, I want to give a shout out to County Councilman Robert Schlepper and the rest of council for banning conversion therapy in our county.
I honestly wanted to say Robert's last name, but because I couldn't, Schlepper.
Schlepper Jr., is that right?
Schlepper Jr., yes. Thank you, Robert.
But also, there's a lot of disinformation just all over the place. So I know the people in this room know what conversion therapy is, but for the people who are listening or who may watch on Sunday morning, could you please explain what conversion therapy is and why it is so dangerous?
Okay. I'm not, okay, yeah, let me explain it. So, conversion therapy is when a therapist does talk therapy or whatever their therapeutic modality is to convince, to support. It's not support. to to coerce individuals to being straight, to denying who they are in terms of their authenticity about how they identify in terms of what they feel about the construct of gender and sexual orientation. And it's very, very harmful. And it has been banned for a reason. So medical authorities, I don't know, are we listening to them anymore? You know, like, I think we should be. They've all denounced it, and it's taken way too long for other folks to understand it. So again, parents, let me just talk to you. It's not good for your child. You're good for your child if you are loving them, if you are trying to learn more. I bought a book. I don't think I ever gave it to my mom, but I bought a book because I wanted her to learn more. Did I give it to you? But you know, so conversion therapy. Who knows I don't know the what do you call that? The definition of it, the scientific definition of it. But it is a harmful practice of trying to manipulate and coerce individuals into living their lives inauthentically as a straight individual. Yes, brainwashing. Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Doug Van Auken. I'm a retired family physician. Conversion therapy, for example, is to show a picture of an attractive woman when this person really is a gay man or a gay boy. And they give them, and they show a picture of an attractive boy, and they give the real boy electric shocks so that they will somehow change their thinking about sexuality.
Yes.
It is criminal.
Yes. And I absolutely know folks in my lifetime who have, who their parents paid other people of the opposite sex in their mind to sexually assault their child. It's terrible because they didn't want him to be gay. And so he's living with that type of betrayal from a parent. That's conversion therapy. That's not good.
But working together with you at the Rape Crisis Center, we really did build something there that started us all to grow and keep growing, and I see that in you. But you said something that really brought up an old memory, and when you were talking about, you know, we do have more protections today. We do have, things are so different. And I remember when I was the director at the Rape Crisis Center, somehow Connie Schultz, who was at the Plain Dealer at the time, remember? Got information that I was a lesbian and thought it'd be a good idea to call out all of our major funders and ask them if they knew that I was a lesbian. Now,
I remember that.
thank goodness they were fine, but they were the ones that called me and said, you know, Connie Schultz is doing this. So, no, I didn't, and why, you know, was my question. And so when I tried to talk to her, she said, I'm doing an investigative piece. I'm not ready to talk to you. So we were all a little scared. Remember, like, what does this mean? She's going to out us? What, you know, I mean, and at the center, it was a very open, very safe place. But this was the early 90s, and things were different. When she finally talked to me, all she wanted to talk about was me being a lesbian. And what was it like for my poor son to have a lesbian mother? But what I said to her, I remember, you know, she had a lot of power right then. You know, she could publish that I was a lesbian. I said, I'm out for the most part. I don't care who knows. But if one survivor does not come to this center because you publish that the director is a lesbian, you are hurting people that need help. And I tried to talk to her all about lesbian baiting and I hope I educated her. but I remember how scary that was
I
for all of us. And I'm wondering now for you, I know starting out, as an executive director, it's all about raising money. It's all about keeping the doors open, paying the salaries, you know. We love the work, but we gotta be the ones that get the money in there. And I know that you are better at it than anyone else in Cleveland.
Thank you.
But I think, has it changed for you as the times have changed? And because getting money for a lesbian gay community center, like for a rape crisis center, is not easy all the time.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you'd talk a little bit about how your journey has been with keeping that funding coming in, and how we can all help to get you more.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mary Bridget. And by the way, I do think, I talked a little bit earlier about oh, sure.
She did not out me in that article.
Oh, yes.
She just described me as having short cropped hair and multi-pierced ears. So I think
You see why she's my mentor? That's what I was going to say. You know, I talked a little bit earlier about progress, and Connie Schultz is one of our allies today. Yes. Yeah. So people change. So this was like in '95 when I started at the Rape Crisis Center, and some of this was going on, and so I'm an OG. I turned 60 recently. But things have changed, and it's hard. I have a managing director who started at the center as our program director because she thought that, she came in to pick my brain, to get information, because she wanted to start a center in Akron, somewhere else, not here. And I said, oh, yeah. I shared everything, and I said, but I got a job. And that job, she did very well, and wanted to learn grant writing and began to write grants. And now is the machine behind the foundation world. I don't meet with those program officers anymore. They don't know who I am. But they know Golnar Firasta. And she works with Lane Rowan, which is a fabulous consulting group. So it helps us with the foundation side of things. We have what I call, it's like our list of, our roster of foundations. And I had it for many years, and Golnar was the one who was able to take it and do something with it. In addition to that, we got good with, we're not great at it. I still get calls of people mad at me with donor stewardship. So the technical things that I know about, that I learned in my graduate program, we brought, and many of us brought to the organization. And I used to tell people, I don't work at the center because I'm a lesbian. I work there because I'm a nonprofit practitioner. And a good one, you know, I've learned from the best. And so things have gotten not great, but better. I have a contract now, right, which means I'm paid, there's pay parity, and I want to tell my sisters that because they're my advocates around that. We need your help. We need your recurring donation of $25 every month for 15 years because you forget about it. That sustains us. We need you to think about us. You know, we established a planned giving program this year because, you know, our boomers are aging. And so the straight people are getting ready for it, and so are we, you know? So we are, I think things have gotten, there has been progress. Our budget, when I started, was $256,000. Our budget now is $3.5 million. Right. And I'm looking over at my board members and Golnar and William, our director of development, and saying, where are we going, right? We have a strategic plan, but, you know, how big are we going to get? You know, like, so as big as it takes is really the answer, right? And so things are better, things can be better. We need your support, and that looks like volunteering. That saves us money. That looks like donations. That looks like showing up at our events. And that looks like telling your allies and using your ally voice in a way that really helps to move us forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's amazing. Thank you. Phyllis Seven Harris. Forums like this one are made possible thanks to generous support from individuals like you. You can learn more about how to become a guardian of free speech at cityclub.org. Today's forum is part of the City Club's Local Hero Series, which is presented in partnership with Citizens and Enbridge. The City Club would like to welcome students joining us from Davis Aerospace Maritime High School, as well as guests at the tables hosted by the ACLU of Ohio, Citizens, the Center for Community Solutions, Friends of John Corlett, Friends of Noel Celeste, the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland, Near West Theater, and the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. Thank you all for being here. Coming up next at the City Club on Friday, October 17th, we will discuss the future of public media. We will unpack the recent congressional clawback of federal funding that forced the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to close, leaving public media stations across the nation, particularly in rural and tribal regions in uncertain territory. You can learn more about this forum and others and get your tickets at cityclub.org. Thank you again to Phyllis Seven Harris and to our members and friends of the City Club. I'm Cynthia Connolly. Our forum is now adjourned.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.
The ideas expressed in City Club forums are those of the speakers and not of the City Club of Cleveland, IdeaStream Public Media, or their sponsors. Production and distribution of City Club forums on IdeaStream Public Media are made possible by PNC and the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, Incorporated.